Would you maybe like to live at the base of some of the tallest mountains in the United States? Certainly the tallest in Montana, which stands for mountain. This is the Montana Real Estate Channel, and you're going to want to watch this video on two really great communities in western Montana, Absarokee and Fishtail. Now, these are small little towns between Red Lodge, Montana and Columbus, Montana. And so stick around and watch till the end of this video. I'm Craig Cyphers, and I work with my daughter Erica at Exit Realty Bitter Valley South. We have offices all over the state of Montana, and we are here to help you understand what's happening in Montana real estate. We've got videos on all sorts of communities. We've got videos on things like inspections, HOAs, covenants, rental properties, pretty much everything that has to do with real estate in the state of Montana. And if this is the first time for you to the channel, you might want to tap that logo right down there on the lower right hand side and subscribe so that you're notified whenever we come out with a new video on communities or subjects of interest with regard to real estate in Montana. So let's go ahead and dive into today's video. If you ever need to get a hold of us, all the information that you need is in the description below. So let's go out and take a look at Fishtail and Absarokee. Headed out of Red Lodge north on Highway 78, going through our communities, Roscoe, Fishtail, and Absarokee. And, oh wait, did you just miss Roscoe? Yeah, I guess we did. Roscoe is a census-designated place in Carbon County, Montana. In the 2020 census, it had a population of 16, and that's probably why you missed it. It's best known for the Grizzly Bar, the hearty meals and rustic charm of the place. A lot of people are going up to Red Lodge Mountain, stop in there at the Grizzly Bar. But we didn't really have much. We had a little place down on Rosebud Creek that was 498 square feet. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath. It had great views of the Beartooth Mountains, and it sold for $228,000. But this is just a little outside of Absarokee, and just before we do our turn down the Nye Road. And out here we've got a property that was 130 acres. House was built in the mid-1990s, and it was an 8-bedroom, 5-bath, 6,274 square feet, and it sold for $2.8 million. And so that was right here in this area where we're driving now on Montana Highway 78. And coming up here on the right-hand side in these white buildings is Pro Arena, where they have a lot of different events. And this is just outside of Absarokee. And we're going to get down here and take a turn down the Nye Road, which is actually the road that leads to the Stillwater Mine. The Stillwater Mine was a major employer in the area. They had about 1,700 employees, and they mined palladium and platinum. And the Russians have kind of got a stranglehold on the market, and it's been tough. The price has really fallen out, and so that mine is closing up. Now we're going to take a turn here onto Nye Road and go across East Rosebud Creek. All these creeks now, they had all big flooding, like when Yellowstone flooded in June of 2022. A lot of flooding happened all of the tributaries coming into the Yellowstone River, and you can see that on our disaster video of disasters in Montana. Now, this is Nye Road, and we're going to head out here to Fishtail. You can see the incredible Beartooth Mountains in the background there. We can just basically see Granite Peak, which is Montana's highest point. Almost, what is that? It's over 12,000 feet, 12,900 feet, I believe. And Fishtail is a great little place, and so we'll take a little trip through there. Here we're going into Fishtail. Now, Fishtail is an unincorporated town in Stillwater County. So the county border is just a little bit south of here. And Fishtail is located on the West Rosebud Creek, and it was established in 1892. And a post office was put in February of 1901. And the town was platted in 1913. And it has the general store has been there since the very early 1900s. And there's the Fishtail General Store. Did I tell you that the population, according to the 2020 census, was 67? There's the post office. And we're crossing the West Rosebud Creek right here. And this was affected heavily by the floods in 2022. Now we're going to drive out here along the Nye Road. You can see the landscape. This is a kind of high altitude area, but you can see the Beartooths in the background. Really quite extraordinary here. And as we've mentioned, you know, we've got really small population. But there's some real estate out here, and there was a place just down here off of Nye Road, just a little ways from here, with great views of the Beartooths, and it was a 2-bed, 1-bath, 720 square feet, so it's pretty small. But it was down on the West Rosebud Creek, which is a pretty good sized creek. And it sold for $650,000. And Fishtail is at an elevation of 4,459 feet. So you can count on getting some snow that sticks around in this particular area. And you've got some larger properties, ranch properties that are out in this area, as you might guess. And one of them was just down the road here. This was a ranch that was on 56 acres, and it was a 3-bed, 4-bath place that was 3,500 square feet, and that actually sold for $2.2 million. And it's got, you can't really see it right here because we're looking a little bit north, but the Beartooths are off on our left-hand side. And got some cattle country out here and some pretty good recreation. You got to be a bit of a hardy soul. It's a ways to get groceries. And now these are properties that are just between Fishtail and Nye. And the little place up here was at one time, I believe it was called something with regard to Anna's Trout Hole, and it was a restaurant, but I see on Yelp that it's no longer open. We're just going to turn around up here at Anna's Trout Hole and head back towards and through Fishtail. And so this area is really very beautiful. It's colder and a little more remote than a lot of the places that we visit and operate in western Montana. But if you have a desire to get out and get into some fishing areas, this is an area just about the intersection of Highway 419 and 78. And there was a home down here that sold on what's called the Voorhees cabin sites. And it sold, it was 2,188 square foot, 2-bed, 2-bath, and it recently sold for $850,000. And there was also, there was a 1,600 square foot place down here that was built in '94, but it was assessed at $381,000. But you can't always count on assessments. And those places down here, certainly the one that was for $850 is again on the West Rosebud Creek, which is nothing short of a river. and river frontage is extremely popular as a real estate investment, particularly if you're an angler. This actually is East Rosebud Creek right here, and as you can see, it's good size. And the East and West Rosebud Creek flow into the Stillwater River. And here we are again at that intersection. There's a little convenience store right here. It's kind of a popular spot because you got a lot of people going different directions for recreational purposes. So that's kind of a handy convenience store. And then we have these little cabins that they have for rent here at that intersection, which is evidence again of a lot of recreational activity in this particular area. So now we're going to go ahead into Absarokee, and we'll get down here, get into town, talk a little bit about the history of Absarokee, what you can expect there, and talk a little bit about the real estate and the price points. Before we hit town, we're going to rush down this lane right here. There was a property in this neck of the woods that was 6 acres. It was built in the mid-70s. It was a 3-bed, 2-bath, and 2,800 square feet, and it sold for $768,000. So now we're going into Rosebud, or excuse me, into Absarokee. And yeah, there's Rosebud Creek here. There's a lot of different rosebuds in Montana. So this is the one, of course, between Red Lodge and Columbus. This is Absarokee. As we come into Absarokee on the south side, we go by our Absarokee High School. And the high school has a student enrollment, according to niche.com, of 71 in grades 9 through 12, with a student-teacher ratio of 10-to-1. Absarokee is a census-designated place, and it's non-incorporated, and it used to be Crow Indian Territory, and the reservation established by the Treaty of Fort Laramie in 1868 created a 35 million acre reservation for this nomadic tribe, and as the federal government is wont to do, once valuable resources were found in the area, the reservation size was drastically reduced to 8 million acres in 1875. And the whole story about the Crows and the movement of the tribe, which is now completely over on the other side of Billings, is really kind of sad. In October of 1892, Severs Simonson settled on the ground outside on the confluence of the Stillwater and East Rosebud rivers, and the post office was established in December of 1892, and a hotel was built, a saloon, livery stable, blacksmith shop. In fact, a couple of buildings we just saw there were from 1910 and 1920. Today, it's got a population of 1,000 people and sits at an elevation of just over 4,000 feet. It's a pretty place. I think it's going to be heavily impacted by the Stillwater mine being shut down. But let's talk about some real estate price points that we see today. This is just a little area in town, and just see a little mix of residential, and we've got some commercial down here, and I think our fire department is here in this particular area, so at least your houses are pretty well protected. There was a 1,320 square foot home in the neighborhood, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, that just recently sold for $288,994. And now we're going to go up to another subdivision. It's a little newer. It's called the Jaeger First Edition to Absarokee, and it's not too far from the Stillwater River. And these homes up here that we're going to go down into the subdivision are on 1/3 acre on community water and sewer. They are, this particular one that sold recently was 1,132 square feet for $320,000. And so that pretty well wraps up our real estate view of Absarokee. Went through Roscoe real fast. We went down by Fishtail and ended up here at Absarokee. We very much appreciate you staying with us on the Montana Real Estate channel, brought to you by Cypher's Family Real Estate. You know, our family's been helping folks move into Montana and around the state of Montana since 1966. And we'd love to be a resource for you. If you're thinking about coming to Montana, anywhere in the state, we have offices in a variety of locations. We know what we're doing. We've got, in fact, our videos, I think, are the most well-researched videos out there on content relative to Montana real estate. So we'd appreciate it if you'd hit that logo on the right-hand side and subscribe. And we look forward to seeing you on the next video on the Montana Real Estate channel. Goodbye from Absarokee.